Chrissy last week. You weren't here last week. And we've got others that are missing here today. But it's Christmas season. I understand that people get busy. Some people are making trips, doing different things. Ed's making bids every day, right? You need your roof done, Ed's your man. If
I got him in my book.
you got him in the book just in case. One unique thing about Sun Valley is we never had any minorities of any kind, none. Unless you want to call Germans, whatever, minorities. But we didn't have any blacks in Idaho at the time. There was a few in Boise, but there weren't any in the community. So I didn't have contact until I left there at 16 years of age. Went to California to become a musician and play in recording studios. And there is my first encounter. There's a lot of blacks in recording studios. Very good musicians for the most part. Very, very good. So anyway, we would travel. I was in Shreveport, Louisiana. Who's been there? I like it. I like Shreveport. A lot of people think it's kind of a red-headed stepchild in Louisiana, but I like that northern end of Louisiana. Anyway, while I was up there, we were in a recording studio one day, and we'd been working hard, and there was a little old black man. He stood about 4'8", looked someone like Sammy Davis Jr. in stature, dressed to the nines. I mean, he dressed up nice. And he was, they called him Pops. And we were doing some work that morning, and come approximately lunchtime, 2, 3 in the afternoon, and we decided that we'd go have lunch. And so as I was leaving, I noticed Pops just sitting over there in the corner as we were all getting ready to leave. And I said to him, "Why don't you come and have lunch with us?" And he said, "Oh, I'll be just fine right here." I said, "No, come on. We're just getting acquainted. Let's go have lunch." So he finally jumps in the car, a little dapper hat and all, a little vest and sports coat, a little ascot, all of that. Pretty sharp. So we got out in the car and we headed to a place that we really like to eat at. It was called Merle's. And Merle was, who remembered George Wallace, the governor of Alabama, that ran for president? Merle was his campaign manager. And he had these fabulous restaurants. What you did is you walked into Merle's and there was basically 4 entrees. And you took your pick. One of them was corned beef and cabbage. One of them was ham and, what do they call it, ham hocks down there? What do you call it? Beans and ham hocks. One of them was something else. Anyway, you had your 4 choices of these southern entrees, and then they just had rows of vegetables and desserts. And back then, I remember your lunch was 85 cents. And the 85 cents included all you can eat. And when they brought you your dessert, it was these big old pies, and they cut it in fourths. So you got this big old fourth of a pie with about 4 scoops of ice cream on top of it. Now back then, I could eat that and it wouldn't, it didn't go anywhere. Now it's going somewhere. So if I eat half that, it's still going somewhere. Well, anyway, we pulled into the parking lot. I was driving and I pulled in the parking lot. I had a little convertible and there was 5 of us sitting in the car, and we all get out and start to walk in except Pops. He's just sitting there in the seat. And I said, now this is about 1967, 68. And I said, "Let's go, man." He said, "Oh, no. I can't eat in there." I said, "What are you talking about?" Now remember, I'm from Idaho. I never been around any of this. "What are you talking about?" He said, "I could work in there, but I couldn't eat in there." I said, "Man, we had civil rights in 1964. What are you talking about?" "Oh, no. I could work in there, but I can't eat in there." And I looked at him, he was quite serious. So I said, "Well, where do you eat?" He says, "Well, where I eat, it's very dark." Meaning that he eats with other black. I said, "Would we be welcome to eat where you eat?" He says, "As long as you're with me, you'll be welcome." So we ended up downtown Louisiana, Shreveport, Louisiana, downstairs, and I mean a marginal neighborhood. You know what I'm talking about? Downstairs into a pool hall. And they made chicken and donuts. I don't know, chicken and donuts. I suppose because they could cook them both in the same vat of grease or whatever. But anyway, so it was a chicken and donut place, and it was delicious. And what you would do is you just get your meal and you just sit around a pool table and eat your lunch sitting there. So we went there, and it dawned on me for the first time in my life that those people were made to feel small every day of their life. And still in 1968, they were made to feel small. You're not good enough to eat where I eat. You're not good enough to go where I go. You're not good enough. Well, listen, we can have a big old conversation here this morning and discussion on, there's civil rights issues coming up right now, right? I think sometimes churches are way too silent on things like that. You don't hear much. I mean, we hear a lot. I mean, there's blacks that are protesting and they're in the streets, and thank God that there's not more violence than there has been, amen? But the church is kind of just stuff like this goes on, we just kind of drift along.
Close your eyes.
So,